They're saying that this individual acted alone. Here's why I don't believe that. People want to talk about why someone would confess to something like this. Falling on the sword for someone that you truly believe is blessed with divine power is not unheard of. Think about Japan and the Yamayazi pilots who were more than happy to take down their enemies with them for the glory of Japan. Think about the Uaside Amers, who everyone was so afraid of that they now make jokes about, that throw the backpack or they run in with the backpack saying Allahu Akbar, whatever the fuck. And they would unalive themselves with their targets for the glory of Allah, for the glory of their God, for the glory of their country. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that this person was approached by someone else and said, if you do this, because you heard that lady say, to defy Trump is to defy God. When you indoctrinate children at a young age, people at a young age, look at North Korea. They believe that their leader is of a divine power and that speaking ill against him is sacrilege. It is the worst possible blasphemy you could ever possibly do. And so, to say that this individual acted alone, to say that this individual did it at all, they could find someone who fits this person's body type and fits this person's face profile. Like, who were the people in the audience who claimed to have done it? And of course, one of them was actually Jewish. So that raised a lot of flags. We still have no idea who those people were behind Charlie Kirk who were making those hand signals. And that's the part that gets me the most. Is that, one, you have this happening on a college campus. You have roof access. Do college campuses regularly have roof access available to random people who don't go to that college? How would he know where this roof access was? How would he know to position himself there? Unless he had cased the joint first or someone told him where to go. If by any chance he did look up different routes and building structures for this college campus, why wasn't the roof access locked? Why would it be readily available? Was the lock broken on the roof access? Why didn't we hear about any of that? Going back to the gentlemen who were supposedly making signals behind Charlie Kirk, does anyone know who they are? Did any of them come forward and say, hey, no, that was me. Let me explain what I was doing. I still don't know their identities. They didn't come forward. If I were being blamed for being part of a conspiracy to unalive someone on television in broad daylight, I would be one of the first people saying, no, 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 no. My name is this, that, and the other. This is what was happening. I had nothing to do with it. But these people never came forward. We still have no idea who those people are. Do you know who those people are? Y'all don't find that suspicious. There are people who are willing to fall on the sword to protect someone who they believe is their divine creator. There are people who actually believe that Trump, and by extension his entire family, are blessed by God. And so, they, in order to exchange favor, to be anointed by someone who they believe is touched by God, they will do things so extreme and so unheard of that you would question their sanity. But to them, it's a rational thing because you cannot argue with belief. No one can tell me that this does not stink of unnecessary nonsense. There's a bunch of clues and a bunch of stuff that does not add up. And there are people saying, oh, well, his father turned him in. Yet his grandmother is saying, wait a minute, what? They didn't apparently bring Mima in on the plan because she probably would have protested. And then they're saying that, Mima, she's old, she's senile, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Why don't we hear from the family? Where's the rest of the family in all of this? Someone could have spoken to them and said, hey, we see you. We understand you. This is what we need from you. Trump is asking you to do this. Trump is anointed by God. God is asking you to do this. Will you do this for us? He may not have pulled the trigger, but he said that he did, just like those two other people claimed that they did. They allowed the person to get away. And everyone's saying, oh, that flight that left, oh, that was, that was explained. They explained that why they flew off, but they didn't explain why they turned off the radar. That was just swept under the rug. So there are all of these loose ends that doesn't really add up. You have the problem, right? They gave us the solution, but they didn't tell us how we got there. There's all of these different things that leave a whole bunch of questions, and to say that he acted alone, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. It's not really possible. Because with an event like this, how would you know how everything is being set up for this event unless you cased it first? How would anyone know where this event is, especially if you don't go to that school? How would anyone know where anything was unless someone told him? You can look at the buildings, you can look at how everything is set up and structured, but if you don't have a visual, if you aren't given a step by step by someone who was actually seen it, and there's no video camera surveillance that shows that this individual showed up first to case the place, you're not going to tell me that it took one shot at Charlie Kirk to get him and to get away from a rooftop access that no one should have had access to. I have gone to several different universities. I live in a university town, and I can guarantee you right now, I have no idea which buildings have roof access, and I wouldn't even know how to begin to get there. And if you were to look up right now, stop what you're doing and go and look up your random, college campus and see if you can find a building in the schematics that has roof access but doesn't have it available to the public. Why would they say that, first of all? Second of all, would they actually have that in schematics for random people to see? There are lots of questions that people aren't asking themselves, or maybe they are, they're asking themselves, and they're afraid to actually say it out loud. This stinks of something else. And I know y'all feel it. And the fact that Israel and Netanyahu are like, oh, Israel had nothing to do with this. Israel had nothing to do with this. If Israel asked Trump to do him a favor, and this favor favors Trump as well, killing two birds with one stone, of course they were going to pull that trigger. Of course they were going to pull that trigger. Charlie Kirk, as much as I disagreed with him, of course didn't deserve to go out like that. But to say that it's beyond the realm of possibility that someone got someone else to admit to a crime that they didn't commit, because let's be clear, they did the same thing with Martin Luther King. His would-be assassin was told to confess, and they gave him a script to follow. When they went back on his deal, and you can look this up, when they went back on his deal, because they told him, oh, he's a Negro, you'll be fine. You're not going to go to prison. You'll be fine. When that didn't happen, he tried to recant his story after the verdict, and he explained who came to him with the story, and they weren't trying to hear it. He had names of the operatives that came to him and told him what to say, when to say, and how to say it, gave him the timeline, but they weren't trying to hear it when he was found guilty. I forgot this guy's name, and this is going to be so bad because he assassinated Martin Luther King Jr., but they did not want to hear it. So this guy here, same thing. He's confessing to a crime that I don't think he committed. They found someone to look like him, and that was it. We'll never know. But this to me stinks of a cover-up.